Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, and greetings once again from Happy Life Circle, and I am Shuja Chaudhary. Today, I am quite excited because this is very first and experimental broadcast from Happy Life Circle. Your interaction, your feedback, your suggestion are really welcome and will highly be appreciated. I will be live here with you for 30 to 35 minutes and we'll be talking about cultivating a happy life. I will be sharing with you 5 best tips that I have collected that are backed by science and psychology. And while I will be sharing with you my happiness tips, I will really appreciate if you can also share uh, your happiness hacks and your happiness tips, whatever has worked in your life to eliminate or reduce pain and negative emotions from your life and help you to cultivate more of positive emotions and happiness in your life. If you are watching it live or you are watching in the replay, your real time happiness tips would be really helpful for all of those who are watching this live session. So, when we talk about happiness uh, and we ask people that what will make you happy, then most of the time they are anticipating the happiness in future. They always say this thing, if this will happen then I will be happy, if I have that much of bank balance then I will be happy, if I meet that real person or that specific other then I will be happy. Actually, our society puts so many externals on us that teaches us to chase success, wealth, fame, power, good looks, romantic love, and other things to feel fulfilled and happy. But are they the real keys of happiness? At least research says no, and specifically when it comes to the long term happiness. Yes, for the short term happiness, such things give us a buzz of positive emotions. For some time, we see a spike in the baseline happiness. That is why sometimes some award or some reward, some big raise, or some exciting new relationship, having new fancy car or new phone or whatever you want to have. These things can make us feel great at first, but the thrill does not last very long. Human beings are actually very quick to adapt to new circumstances. And this quality of human being has actually helped us to survive and thrive. But it also means that the positive things that initially make us happier soon become our new normal and we return to our old happiness baseline. In fact, there was a study from the Northwestern University in which they assessed and searched for the people who won the big lottery prizes. And when they were observed after 1 year, it was noted that their happiness spike was again back to their baseline. But does this mean that we cannot grow our happiness or we cannot increase or elevate our baseline happiness? Now, this is promising that research in the field of positive psychology have found that you can genuinely increase your happiness and overall satisfaction with life. And it does not require winning a lottery ticket or some other drastic changes to happen to you or to your circumstances. And what all it takes is an inner change of perspective and attitude. And that is it. What all it takes is an inner change of perspective and attitude. And that's truly a good news because it is something anyone can do. Anyone can change their perspective to be more positive and they can change their attitude. And I will be talking about how we can help ourselves to change our attitude. I was telling that I will be sharing with you 5 tips, and the number one on the list is train your brain to be more positive. Now that is about being optimistic. That is about having a positive look about yourself, about people, and about anything that is happening around you in the life. You know that our brains are actually hardwired to notice and remember the things that are wrong or that are bad or that are threatening in our society. Actually, this hardwiring was a survival mechanism that has helped our ancestors that were living in the cave when there were so many physical threats. They were having those primary emotions of fight, flight, and freeze. But in today's comparatively safe world, this biological predisposition to focus on the negative contributes to the stress and unhappiness. While we cannot change people around us, while we cannot change the circumstances directly, and we cannot change our genetics and our nature, but we can do train our brains to be more positive. This does not mean that putting on a smiley face and whistling around like a happy-go-lucky person and not having to bother that what is going on. No, you don't have to ignore the reality or pretend that things are wonderful when they are not. But just as dwelling on negative things fuels unhappiness and plays a big role in depression and anxiety and stress, choosing to notice and appreciate and anticipate goodness is a powerful happiness booster. For our health, we definitely need to reduce stress in our life, because now the medical science is of the opinion that all disease have their basis in the stress. Now, how we can train our brain to be more positive? For one thing that I can share with you is express more gratitude and appreciation to whatever is happening good in your life or whatever blessings you have. Now you have to be teaching yourself to become more grateful. This can make a huge difference in your overall happiness. The research shows that gratitude helps us to experience more positive emotions, that helps us to decrease depression, feel better about ourselves, improve our relationships, and strengthen our immune system. And there are a number of ways through which we can practice to increase and cultivate an attitude of gratitude. And for that, you have to give sincere thanks to the others. When someone goes above and beyond or does something that has made your day easier, be quick to verbalize your thanks and appreciation. Throughout your day, you can find so many people who are actually making our lives easier, starting from the janitors and starting from the paramedics and the doctors and the engineers and your own family members. People are actually making our life easier on different levels. So we can always find someone to give genuine and sincere thanks. And this will not only will make that person feel good, it will give you back the happiness. It will lift your own happiness level. And actually, it is an instant reward to see how expressing the gratitude makes a positive difference in someone else's life and in your own life. And that makes a ripple effect. It makes you realize that we all are connected, and what others do matters to us, and what all we do, that also matters to other people. And to enhance your attitude of gratitude, there is a cheesy technique that is like keeping a gratitude journal. But research says that writing down the good things that happen to you during the day really works. And research shows that keeping a gratitude journal is a powerful technique that instantly make you feel happier, more connected to others, and enable you to genuinely appreciate whatever blessings you have or whatever people you have in your life that are making your life easier on any level. And one more thing that you can do for yourself to increase or enhance your attitude of gratitude is counting your blessings. If you make it a habit to regularly reflect on the things that you have to be thankful for, bring them to the mind, all the good people, experiences, and the things in your life, both now and maybe from the past. Focus on the blessings, both big and the small, from the people who love you to the roof over your head and the food on your table. And you will see that there is a pretty good list, and there is a long list for the things for which you can be grateful for. You can just look on your own body. If you have your hands working, your feet working, you can walk, you can be thankful for your legs. If you can eat, you can be thankful for your teeth, for the taste buds to have the taste of the food, for your digestive system. So the list can be pretty long, and that really enhances your attitude of gratitude. And when it comes to expressing gratitude to someone, then you can think of writing a letter of gratitude for anyone who has been of any good in your life, maybe your parents or your siblings, your teacher, and especially those people to those you might have not said thank you or gratitude for a long time. And Professor Martin Seligman, he's also called the founder of positive psychology, and he's working in University of Pennsylvania. He recommends that reading that letter of gratitude in person to someone actually dramatically increase their happiness level and your own happiness levels. And one more thing, that the last thing that I can tell you, that how you can train your brain to be more positive is find the positive in the negative events, and especially the negative events from your past. Even the most painful circumstances can teach us to be more positive, and that can teach us some positive lessons. So if anything that has happened to you in the past, and that was negative, you may consider to re-evaluate that negative event from your past with an eye for what you learned, or how you became stronger or wiser or more compassionate because of those negative circumstances. When you can find the meaning even in the bad things, you will be happier and more grateful for whatever has ever happened in your life that has made you who you are today. But you can definitely enhance your attitude of gratitude to have more positive outlook and to train your brain to be more positive. And this is the number one tip. It is not only number one on my list. There is a law of gratitude. According to that law, if you are grateful, you will be having more of things to be grateful for. And this is law of gratitude. And in all the tips of the happiness, this one law of gratitude is so potent that if you forget about all the things and just start being grateful for your blessing, you will definitely see something happening really positive in your life, and it works like magic. Rhonda Byrne, the author of the book The Secret, he has also written a book, The Magic, in which she talks about 28 days magic rituals and the practices. And she claims that practicing 28 days gratitude in a row will definitely bring magic to your life. And now I come to the second tip, and that is nurture and enjoy your relationships. Actually, I have never seen a really happy person with bad relationships. Relationships are actually one of the biggest sources of happiness in our lives. Studies that look at the happy people bear this out, that having good relationships drastically increases your happiness level. The happier the person, the more likely that he or she has a large supportive circle of family and friends. They must be having some fulfilling marriage and a thriving social life. That is why nurturing your relationship is one of the best emotional investment you can make. If you make an effort to cultivate and build your connections with others, you will soon reap the rewards of more positive emotions, like ripple effect. And as you become more happier, you will attract more people and higher quality relationships, leading to even greater positivity and enjoyment. And it is the happiness gift that keeps coming back to you by sharing your happiness and strengthening your relationships. And how you can strengthen your relationships? Make a conscious effort to stay connected with the people, and especially the people whom you love, your near and dear ones. In fact, in our busy society, it is easy to get caught up in our responsibilities and neglect our relationships. But losing touch with the friends is one of the most common end of life regrets. Do not let it happen to you. Make an effort to stay connected to the people who make your life brighter. Take time to call them, take time to message them, write to them, or see each other in person. you will be really happier for it. And it is not about only having the connection or spending the time with the people. It is about investing into the quality time with the people you care about. It is not just the time spent with the friends and the family that matters. It is how you spend it. Like if you are mindlessly sitting together in front of the TV, it is not going to make you closer. People who are really happy in their relationships, they actually talk a lot. They not only talk a lot, they listen to each other. They listen to what really other person is saying or expressing. They share what is going on in their lives and how they feel. And if you really follow the examples of the happy couples and share and listen, and you take out the time to talk and enjoy each other's company, your relationships will be really thriving. And when you are connecting with people, offer sincere compliments, genuine compliments to them. Think of the things you admire and appreciate about the other person, and make a chance to tell them what you are grateful, what you admire about them, what you appreciate about them. This will not only make the other person happier, it will encourage him or her to be an even better friend or partner with you. As a practice of gratitude, it will also make you value the relationship more and make more happiness and cultivate more happiness in your life and in your relationship. And when it comes to connecting with people and making relationships, then always make an effort to seek out to connect with happy people. Now, happy people, because happiness is like something contagious. So when you connect with happy people, that happiness also uh, get passed to you. You can literally catch a good mood. And by the way, you can also catch the bad mood and the negative things as well. Negative emotions are also contagious. But thankfully, the sadness or the negative emotions are less contagious than happiness. So make an effort to seek out and spend the time with the people. Before you know it, you will be feeling the happiness. And with that, I will come to the next tip, that is the third tip, and it is live in the moment and savors life pleasures. Now, living in the moment is like cherishing the moment of now, being available now and here. The major cause of the unhappiness of the people is that they miss the moment of now. They cannot savor what life is presenting them in now. More of the time, they are either in their past or they are in the future. Now, and when they are in the past, more of the people, they are always taking back the regrets and the pain and the bad memories from their past, and they pollute their now. And when they are forecasting their future, they are more of the time they are thinking about the fears, and that bring anxiety to their now. Now, chances are that you are either dwelling on something negative from the past or worrying about something in the future. In contrast, when you focus on the present moment, the moment of now, you are much more likely to feel centered and happy and ultimately at peace. If things are not even good, or if they are negative in your now, by accepting your now, you will be wiser and you will be more powerful enough to find the solutions of those things. But living in the past or living in the future brings more anxiety, fear, and bad emotions. You're also much more likely to notice that good things that are happening in now rather than letting them pass unappreciated or unobserved. So, how do you start to live more in now or in the moment of now? Have you ever found some exercises or the practices to be more in now? I can suggest you one, that is meditation. You might have also heard about meditation from other sources, and you might have also known that there are two type of meditation, that is focused attention meditation and mindfulness. Now, this mindful meditation is a powerful technique for learning to live and enjoy the moment of now. And you don't have to be very religious person or even a spiritual person to reap the benefits of the meditation. Simply speaking, meditation is actually an exercise for your brain. When practiced regularly, meditation appears to decrease activity in the areas of the brain that are associated with negative thoughts or anxiety and depression. And research also suggests that meditation increases the activity in the areas of brain that are associated with joy, contentment, and peace. So this is actually double-edged. That on one hand you are decreasing the activity that is associated with negative thoughts, and at the same time you are increasing the activities in the brain area that are associated with joy, contentment, and happiness. Meditation also strengthens the area of the brain that are in charge of managing your emotions and controlling your attentions. So actually this is a win-win game. What is more, being mindful makes you more fully engaged in here and now. And the more aware you are and more appreciative you are of the good things in the moment of now, the happier you will be. And uh, what else you can do to be more in now, I can suggest you quickly about 3 mindfulness exercises that can help you to get started. Number 1 is body scan. Body scanning exercises and the meditation, you can find that on Google. Then there is walking meditation. It is like meditation has not to be only sitting. In walking meditation, mindfulness involves being focused on your physical aspects, the sensation, your feet touching on the ground, the rhythm of your breathing, and everything that is around you. So if you engage more and more of your senses and be totally engaged in now, that is actually the mindfulness. And you can practice mindful eating. If you reach for the food when you are under stress, then you may like to gulp your meals down in the rush, or you try eating mindfully. So when next time you are having your food, sit down at the table and focus your full attention on the meals, and try to avoid the TV and the newspaper or gossiping with the people. Now eat slowly and take time to fully enjoy and concentrate on each bite. That would be like mindful eating. And to be more in present moment, you need to notice and savor the small players that are available in your life. If you adopt a mindful meditation practice, you will automatically actually begin to notice and savor life players more. But there are more things that you can do to increase your awareness and enjoyment. And that is like you can adopt to enjoyably do your some daily rituals, like build moments of enjoyment in your day with pleasurable rituals. These can be very simple things like lingering over a cup of coffee in the morning, or taking short stroll in the sunshine during your lunch hour, or playing with your dog when you get home. And these things, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you enjoy and appreciate it. And to be in more in moment of now, you need to minimize your multitasking mind, and try to notice the beauty that is around you, and to notice the beauty of the nature. What else can be more beautiful than flowers? And in like roses or the daisy flowers or any flower you can get your eyes on. It may be an old cliche, but it's a good advice. When you appreciate good things and you stop whatever you are doing for a moment to appreciate, it will enhance your pleasure. Even you can only spare few seconds. If you can share the moment with others, that is even better. You know that happiness when shared is doubled. So shared players and shared happiness is always powerful. And like we were talking about, that people live in the past and they bring bad memories and the regrets from the past. To keep your mind more focused in now, and to savor the moments, uh, replay the happy memories. You don't have to limit your savoring things that are happening to now only. Remember and replay your happy memories and experiences from the past. That will lead you to positive emotions to be generated in now. So, what is next on the list is our tip number 4, and this is focus on helping others and living with meaning. So there is something truly fulfilling in helping others and feeling like your actions are making a difference for a change in the world, for something happening better in the world. That is why people who assist those in need and give back to others and their communities tend to be the happier people. And in addition, they also tend to have higher self esteem and general psychological well being. Now, how you can engage yourself in helping others? There are so many chances in the day when you can help the people around you in daily house chores or at the work. And more about that, you can be volunteer. And volunteering is actually a very potent happiness technique. You will get the most out of the experience by volunteering for an organization that you believe in and that allows you to contribute in a meaningful way. If at all you are not volunteering for some organization, still you can practice random acts of kindness. Look for the ways to be more kind and compassionate and giving in your daily life. This can be something as small as brightening a stranger's day with a smile, or going out of your way to do a favor to a friend, or bringing something that is needed by your family members, or just giving them some appreciation or genuine admiration for who they are. And one thing that you can do more about helping others, find the activities that match your own strengths and in which you find your own passion and flow. These are the best activities, including kindness and the curiosity. And if you have the strength of the honesty and creativity or love of learning, then try to engage in these character strengths. And if you, by the way, if you really want to know your own character strength and your unique attributes of your personality, then I can recommend you that go to website that is VIA Strengths, VIA Strengths. That website is actually based on the teachings and the research of positive psychology, and there is a quiz. If you do that quiz, it gives you out your top strengths. And research says that when you know your top strengths and you do the activities out of those character strengths, then there are likely chances that you will find your flow, passion, and maybe your life purpose through those strengths. And finally on the list is tip number 5, and that is take better care of your health. No one can actually deny that health is quite related with happiness. If you are not feeling good, if you are feeling sick, chances are that there would be less of positive emotions and more of fears and negative emotions. You can be happy even when you are suffering from illness or bad health, but that does not mean that you should ignore the aspects of your health that are in your control. Now, 2 things that are very important for the health are exercise and sleep. They are particularly important when it comes to happiness. Now, make exercise a regular habit. Exercise is not just good for the body, it has also a powerful effect on your mental and psychological well-being. People who exercise regularly are happier across the board, and they are less stressed, less angry, less anxious, and less depressed. Rather, exercise is used as an alternative to traditional antidepressant drugs. And it does not really matter that what kind of exercise you do, so long as you do it regularly. For best results, aim for an hour of exercise at least 5 days a week. But it is said that only 30 minutes brisk walking can also be very helpful in cheering you up and cultivating positive emotions. And if you find something you enjoy, you will be more likely to stick to it. So don't think that you are limited to going to the gym or lacing up your jogging shoes. Find something that suits your lifestyle and your preferences. It could be taking a dance class or shooting hoops or walking in the nature, going to a community sports league, playing tennis, running with your dog, swimming laps at the pool, hiking, biking, or doing yoga in the park. If you are having trouble thinking of the activities you enjoy, think back of the time when you were a child, when you were a kid. What sports or game did you like to play? You can try that again. And the last of the tip is that get the sleep you need. Getting that quality sleep every night directly reflects your happiness, your vitality, and your emotional stability during the day. When you are sleep deprived, you are much more susceptible to stress, and it is harder to be productive, and it is harder to think creatively and make wise decisions. How much sleep do you need? According to sleep scientists, the average person needs at least 7.5 hours to 9 hours each night. So I am done up with all those 5 tips, and I believe that this would be somewhat helpful to you. And at the last, I again request you to share your own happiness hacks and your own happiness tips that has worked in your life to reduce pain and negative emotions and has helped you to cultivate more positive emotions and happiness in your life. That would be really helpful to all of us, those who are watching now or plan to watch in the replay. And thank you very much. I am Shura Chaudhary signing off from Happy Life Circle, and I will be meeting you soon in some new live video with new topic. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Namaste. Greetings.